you all coming to Light Village and having this meeting. Well, having said that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bush. Let's give him a hand. Next on the program would be me. I will do the opening and the moderation. So I would just like to say good morning to you, to each and every one of you, and it is a joy to extend you the welcome that Mayor Bush from Lake Village here today. A place, I was doing the research, and it is a place known for its warm people, rich farmland, and the beautiful water of Lake Chico that makes the community so special. This is a city built on hard work, strong families, and a deep love for the land, from soybeans, cotton, rice, corn, and catfish. The farmers of Chico County have shaped the Delta for generations. Today, we are here to bring information, resources, and real opportunities straight to you and your community. We are joined by partners who are ready to help. We have Natural Resource Conservation here, Farm Service Agency Service, would not be able, but Doc is going to take care of that. Rural Development, Arkansas Department of Agriculture, and Small Business Administration. They had other engagements, and they may send somebody, may not. All right. But these agencies are here because they believe in the community here, and they want to make sure you have access to the programs and support that can make a difference for your farms, for your families, and for your future. Thank you for asking. Yes, this workshop is about connection. This workshop is about learning what's available. This workshop is for asking questions and making sure that everyone in this room leaves with something useful, something beneficial, whether it is knowledge, resources, or a new partnership. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you do every day, and thank you, Lake Village, for allowing us to come in your community. So let's have a great and meaningful day together. All right, well, next we're going to have Dr. King to present.
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to everyone. Let me express my appreciation to the mayor of Lake Village and city council members for allowing us this opportunity to be here. As a point of an overview, let me say two things. One, we're not only here in person, and those of you who are here in person, but we're also with those individuals who may possibly be online. So this entire event will be recorded for the purpose of providing it and making it available to individuals who may not be able to participate today, but we can refer them back to online, to our website, to have an opportunity to both hear and see what was brought to the Lake Village community. As Ms. Williams said, we're going to be discussing with our partners, USDA, which is a major resource, for all of our rural areas, both Natural Resource Conservation Services, USDA Farm Service Agency, as well as USDA Rural Development, along with other agencies such as Ag Marketing Services. We're not going to just talk about the larger farming operations, but we'll be talking about other opportunities that exist that's relevant to what we call micro-urban farm, what is now the USDA Urban Agriculture Initiative. In other words, you can be a farmer and have less than a half an acre. So we'll have some discussions around that as well. And of course, the resources that's available even for those opportunities. There may be individuals that are gardeners now in the local area that may have goals to become gardeners, smaller producers of vegetables. Then there are some great opportunities in that area that's offered by USDA, both through Farm Service Agency as well as through USDA Natural Resource Conservation Services. So we'll have discussions around that as well, and any questions that individuals may have. We'll also talk about housing opportunities, and as relates to USDA, as well as investment opportunities that USDA offer for business and community economic development through USDA rural development. And that's everything from infrastructure resources, water sewer system, fire stations, safety areas for local communities with USDA rural development, as well as rural business enterprise, both loan and grant areas. I'm only going to give reference to this as an area because it is something that's available and find sometimes people are not aware of it, but also resource opportunities through your local bank and what's offered by the Federal Home Loan Bank. Of course, Federal Home Loan Bank, basically all banks are a member of Federal Home Loan Bank, and what they call equity financing up to $125,000 that's made available through local banks for local community and dealing with small businesses as well as other business enterprise areas. So there's a lot to cover, from that perspective as it relates to community economic development. And the housing area, I'll discuss that more in detail than what's offered by rural development as well, both in the way of loan financing as well as grant programs that's made available. As Ms. Williams gave reference to, what's most important about this event here is that information that's being provided, that people have a clear understanding of the opportunities that it offers to the local communities. I've been very impressed in discussions with the mayor as well as with the city councilman about goals that Lake Village has as it relates to community economic development in the area of both housing as well as specific areas of development that's taking place in this local community now. I do know that Lake Village not only is it known for its hospitality, as a city itself, but it offers that also for tourism. You'll find that Lake Village get quite a bit of tourism in this area based on what it has to offer from what I call a natural resource perspective. So I won't be discussing that, from the community perspective, but I do know that from my own experience from some individual associates of mine that's actually from the Lake Village area, as well as some of my past experiences in being in Lake Village. So great community, a great area for both tourism, and I noticed even on my way in a number of both RVs and travel trailers as people were headed toward Lake Village. So I'm assuming that they're headed out toward the lakefront area, either starting an early weekend, possibly even just time out on vacation and things of that nature. So I'm going to stop at this point, with the exception of one other thing that we will discuss here, and hopefully anyone who have questions in relationship to it, because we find it in basically all communities that we go to. It is something that is very common, and what we call heirs property. Now, heirs property is you'll find it being an issue in a lot of our rural areas. Same thing you'll find in urban areas, but the point is that there are areas of opportunity or law changes as it relates to heir property that some people are not aware of that took place. I think that law passed in 2018 is a new law in Arkansas with the Unified Heir Property Act. So we'll discuss heir property as being some of the barriers. Some of the barriers when air property is involved, if you are going to become a beginning farmer, if you're dealing with an estate situation, and what can be some possible solution, to those issues, but also how USDA has been flexible in some ways in working with families who may have air property and have not been able to access their resources because of that, being a barrier if you're not able to provide certain information as relates to what that particular status may be. So I'm going to stop at this point, and I will say that anyone who have questions that's online, if you will post those questions, then they will be asked to the resource person or directly back to me. And if we don't have an answer at this given point in time, you'll have a phone number that you can call, and we'll make sure that we get the information, or we will be in a position to refer you back to the resources that you may have a need for. So, again, I'd like to thank, Lake Village, City Council members, along with the mayor, for allowing us this opportunity to be here. And hopefully everyone will participate, and that this will be a very positive, what I call more of a roundtable type of event and discussion, both those virtually as well as those in person. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Williams at this point.
All right, thank you, Doc. We have staff thought that maybe it's going to be somebody from Farm Program, USDA. So,
Well,
so you can continue
Yes.
on the farm loan manager side,
Okay.
and then we'll have NRCS.
Well, I'm back now, and I'm going to talk about the USDA Farm Service Agency program side. I'm going to talk about both sides. Normally, USDA Farm Service Agency would have two resource people here, both the individuals from the program perspective, as well as the ones from the farm loan side of it. I'm going to start with the farm program side. Now, I gave reference to what USDA has now as the USDA Urban Agricultural Initiatives, what I call Urban Micro Farm Initiatives. If an individual has an acre of land or even a lot that they may want to utilize for agriculture production purposes, or it may be for just producing vegetables, both for home consumption as well as for marketing purposes, be it direct to consumer type of marketing or participation in a farmer's market. On the program side, that particular piece of land, and again, it could be a lot, it could be a half acre, it could be an acre, can be established as a farming operation. But the first thing you have to do is to get a farm number. And in order to get a farm number, you have to go through Farm Service Agency. Farm Service Agency is the agency that will provide you with a farm number for that particular piece of land. Again, this is on the program side with USDA Farm Service Agency. So a farm number is very crucial as being the first step if you're talking about accessing other resources from USDA, particularly back with Natural Resource Conservation Services. Getting the farm number. The other thing, and there's a step-by-step process, and there's certain documentation that is required. One, either showing ownership of the property, showing that you have control of that property by way of a lease agreement. And I would strongly encourage, if there's a lease agreement involved and you're going to move toward accessing natural resource conservation services programs, that you have a minimum of a 5-year lease on that particular piece of land or that particular piece of property. Once the farm number, you've achieved getting a farm number on that land. And the reason for that is to make sure you have enough years showing that you have control of that property to be able to deal with the compliance requirements with Natural Resource Conservation Services, with the program resources that they have to offer. And they will talk more about those program resources. What I gave reference to previously on the air property. On the same side, air property can be a barrier in issues when it comes down to utilizing land. And again, if it's a lot, if it's a half acre, if it's 2 acres, 3 acres, whichever, if you want that to become a farm. If there's an air property situation and the individuals, or no one individual can show that they have the administrative authority over that land, then you will not be able to get a farm number from Farm Service Agency for that particular piece of property. And in those cases, and what I normally always encourage, if there wasn't a will or anything left for the property, and you know the number, you know the heirs that are involved, one way to do it is to just probate it through the courts, and by way of the court decree itself, it is that the courts show who is agreed to being the administrator for that particular estate or the real property that may be involved. So again, air property can be a barrier in situations like that. Those who may want to become a small beginning, what I call micro farmer, a smaller farmer, producing horticultural or vegetable crops for the purpose of both marketing, even both for a combination of marketing as well as home consumption, be it through farmers market, direct to consumer market. But local food supply can be very, very crucial in local communities. It can be important. All the same time, it's a matter of establishing your market base when you're going into that type of business enterprise. Farm Service Agency also, well, I'm not going to move to the loan side yet. In addition to the farm number with Farm Service Agency that you would get, they also offer what I call risk management for individuals who want to go into that type of farming operation, producing vegetable crop. And I'll say risk management insurance, called NAP. And in most cases, that particular program doesn't cost anything, or it costs a minimum, but it reduces the risk that's involved in dealing with farming operations. Any farming operation, normally in most cases, they're going to mitigate the risk by having crop insurance. Well, NAP, which is a insurance that is offered to any producers that's not producing the traditional type crop. And it's not just for vegetables. You may be an orchard producer, pecans and things of that nature as well. But anything that is not that you do not get insurance on from the traditional crop insurance, then that particular program is through Farm Service Agency. And again, they call it the NAP program. You'll find also that the program side with FSA is normally where you will get the benefit of other payments through USDA that may be offered, such as disaster payments. It's going to be on the program side. You also, last year, I think the last one that was published was on some of the market support payments, lost market payments that was through the program side with FSA, both for the horticultural vegetable crops as well as for traditional crops. And again, two areas with FSA, the program side, and then you have the lending side. And disaster payments, would also be in the same arena. Again, you're going to be with FSA on the emergency or disaster program payments. Back with Farm Service Agency, you're going to move over. You will be over in the program side area, and a lot of people don't realize that FSA have those two different areas and how they operate from an organizational perspective with USDA, both the program area and then the lending. Most individuals know about the lending program, which I'm going to move to now, and dealing with the loans. I discussed the farm number and the micro, small, loan, micro, urban agricultural initiatives that's now being done by USDA. But Farm Service Agency also offer the micro loan, the micro direct loan. Now the micro loan is up to $50,000 for an operating loan. That's the maximum on the operating loan, which fits very well with smaller producers. Again, some producers are those who are engaged in producing vegetable crops are not aware that Farm Service Agency has that type of lending program for the smaller producers. It also fits very well with individuals if they're just small beginning farmers. Again, they may be starting off with 40 acres, and not that that's their income as a whole, but sometimes individuals will start off with small acreage and maybe 40 acres, maybe 20 acres or so, and maybe a livestock operation, maybe vegetable crop production, things of that nature. Again, that micro loan program, direct loan program, is one that is offered by Farm Service Agency. Now, with that direct loan program, on the operating cost behind that, when you make that loan, at the end of that particular farming season, the operating loan side, 100% of that is due back. They do have some flexibility that they offer, and I won't get into the details regarding that. Your Farm Service Agency loan officer can provide the details of that if you go to the USDA Farm Service Center. But if you invest in equipment, if you invest in equipment such as if it's a small tractor and maybe tillers or things of that nature, then that particular part of the financing on the direct loan, you have a 7-year repayment period. So 100% of that is not due at the end of the particular farm season within the context of a particular year. You have 7 years to pay that out over a period of time on the equipment portion of the loan. Now, they also offer the guarantee loan. I mean, not the guarantee, but they offer the guarantee loan. I'm not going to go to the guarantee loan now, but still on the micro loan, along with financing for operating purposes, they also offer the capital investment side, that $50,000 maximum if you want to purchase land for the capital investment area. But you must have been in operation for a minimum of at least 3 years, been actively engaged in farming for a minimum of 3 years in order to qualify for the direct capital loans to make a purchase of land, even with the micro loan. The regular operating loan for farmers, and again, particular starting points, for farmers are beginning farmers, and we work with some of those, and we offer technical assistance to individuals, both in developing the loan business package on the micro loan as well as on the regular loan. On the regular loan, operating loan with Farm Service Agency, that dollar amount is $400,000 for an operating loan, a direct operating loan. Farm Service Agency, $400,000, and that's in dealing with the operation, your regular budget layout on your operating expenses, everything from seed to fertilizer, labor costs, chemicals, custom harvesting, and things of that nature, along with equipment being a part of that. Now, all of us know if you're getting into purchasing equipment and you're talking about $400,000 being the maximum on an operating loan, then you're not talking about, a sufficient amount in some cases in order to do that. I'm not going to get into details as to how we work with individuals or how individuals may need to possibly plan for situations like that, understanding their operating costs as well as what their potential equipment costs may be. But I will say you would need to develop and should have a relationship with an equipment dealership because, again, they offer the credit line and financing for equipment and working with beginning farming operations. Just making sure that it fits within the context of your farm business plan and where you have a positive cash flow projection if you're a beginning farmer. In addition to the direct loan on the operating loan side, they have also, again, the land purchase loan. The land purchase loan on the direct loan is $600,000. Again, and that's over a period of years of payout. I think it's about 20 years is how they like to finance it. I think it may possibly cap out of the maximum of being 30 years on that. Don't hold me to the 30 years, but say a 20-year period of time amortized over that period of time, whatever the interest rates may be. And you'll find in basically all cases, or most cases, that FSA offers the best interest rates in a particular with a particular loan for operating purposes as well as for capital investments off a chattel, with the equipment as well. Now, FSA also offers the guarantee loan program, and with the guarantee loan program, the customer with FSA would not be you as an individual. The guarantee loan program works that the customer with FSA is the bank. So if you're doing business with a particular bank and you know that $400,000, even as a beginning farmer, is not going to be a sufficient amount to run your particular farming operation, then you would need to look at the guarantee loan program with Farm Service Agency. The bank would make the loan, or your farm credit agency would make the loan. In some cases, you have credit unions that are doing that, and they also have the banks and the credit unions and the farm credit agencies also are some big lenders. Heritage is another one that does a lot of the direct lending utilizing the guarantee program. Those particular financing institutions are what they consider being the certified preferred lenders that they offer that guarantee program back to. Now, and I may be wrong on the dollar amount for the guarantee program, but I want to say it's a sum in excess of $2 million now. If it's not more than 2.3 or 2.8 million dollars for the guarantee program on the operating side. They also offer the guarantee program for land purchases as well. Again, the bank making the loan and Farm Service Agency, USDA, guarantees that loan that is made to the particular borrower, which would be you as an individual. I will come back and I may have the specific maximum dollar amount that is offered in the guarantee program, by the banks that work with USDA Farm Service Agency. Now, while USDA on the program side offers to mitigate risk in the process, offer the NAP program for horticultural crops and other orchards, and again, pecan orchards, fruit orchards, and things of that nature, that's not insurable where insurance is not offered by the traditional insurance companies. I always recommend any individual, if you're a beginning farmer or you're in the business of farming, period, you should definitely get with an insurance provider and take out crop insurance. And they have different crop insurance programs now, a lot more diversity than what it used to be some years ago, including the buy-up. But I would definitely recommend that you locate, have an arrangement with a crop insurance agency. I get your crop insurance agent. If you're just getting into farming as a beginning farmer, it mitigates the risk on your part, and it definitely mitigates the risk on the part of the lenders, and they'll be looking for that. So I'm going to stop at this point as it relates to USDA Farm Service Agency, and turn it back over to Ms. Williams. Sometimes this is a little challenging for me because as I present and I talk about a particular agency and its program, I like to hear the agency representative talk about it so I can ask them questions for further explanation on any particular thing. So
I'm just
now,
gonna let you keep going. Go ahead and do NRCS. I'll back you up.
No. See, there's really a long story behind my understanding USDA program. One thing I do know, my dad always said, if you're a partner, you have to bring something to the table. So you expect your partner to have something on the table and you to have something on the table. So I became aware very quickly and working as a partner with USDA as a partner that we have to know all of USDA programs and all of the agency's program, including ag marketing services that we don't have locally here, but at the national office. So we try to always bring something to the table as a partner in knowing the programs. And when I say ask the questions, I don't really ask questions. I really sort of facilitate the discussion. It's more or less what I do in the process. So I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Williams at this point.
Okay, thank you, Doc. So next, we're gonna have an NRCS, and we do have an outreach from state office to two employees, representatives from the state office, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Williams back there. So if there is anything extra that they would like to say, they could come up and say it. However, we do have Erica Longoria.
I know, it's
Here.
hard.
That's okay. You got it though. So next we're gonna have Erica from NRCS.
I don't have a whole lot. I don't know if I know one has done some work with NRCS, but I just kind of wanted to go over the process and kind of touch base on our programs. I see that CRP is listed under me, but CRP is kind of it's a partnership.
Right.
So you start with FSA with signing up, and they'll give you all the details and what all it entails when you sign up. And then NRCS is the partner who, because I'm a conservationist, I write the plan, the technical plan, and then we get, if you're wanting to plant native grasses or trees, we partner with AFC or Arkansas Game and Fish, and then we get their plans, and then that's how I base my plan off of the objectives that y'all discussed out there, and then it heads back over to FSA, and they administer payments and things like that. So I'm enough to be dangerous with CRP, but I'm not gonna, we'll get you somebody that knows something more than me. But, okay, so EQIP and CSP is really my heavy hitter programs, and EQIP So equip is our structural stuff. So if you're needing, depending on how you farm or what you farm, cropland, forest, or cattle, goats, things of that nature, we help with the structure. So if you're doing small like truck patches for vegetable crops and things like that, and you're needing some pipeline, or if you're needing some water, we base it off of resource concerns on your property. And okay, so when you come in and you're like, hey, I heard that there was some things available, then we like to set up a field visit, and then we go out and we do our field visit, and we look at the resource concerns on your property, and we kind of get a feel for what you're wanting to do and how you're wanting to better your property, and then we base it off of that. And then if you want to sign up with us through equip, if it's fencing, water tanks for cattle, if it's row crop is pumps, pipeline, irrigation, things like that. And then you sign an application, and it's never a guarantee that you will get funded. So please do not listen to TikTok. And also, we do not have bukus of money just in my desk drawer. That doesn't happen either. So you start with the application, and then you get put into the system, and we rank you based off of the resource concerns and the practices that address those resource concerns. And then the computer spits out a score, and we start with the top ranking, and we go until we run out of money. So instead of going like this, it goes like that. And CSP works similar to that, but CSP is our management side. So if you've never worked with us before, we really want to go out and look at your property with you, and we really want to hear y'all's side and get a feel of what y'all are wanting to see in 5 years, 10 years on your property. And then we like to, after you've done equip and we've got your structure stuff, then we want to move to CSP, and we want to do the management side of your property. And CSP is a 5-year program, and so when you said the lease agreement, you like to see a 5-year, we do too, because 5 years is the contract length if you were to get picked up for CSP. And so that's kind of the short of it.
Now, on the right now, as I understand it, at one time, if you had equip, and you got a contract on equip, you couldn't come back in and do CSP. CSP was normally apt for it as an enhancement program.
We like to finish up your equip and get everything established, and then come back, because conservation stewardship program is designed to, you're already being a good steward of the land. Let's pay you for that. Let's help you better yourself, better your management styles. So if you're putting fertilizer in your own row crop, as an example, if you're putting fertilizer out, the next step would be, instead of just getting the soil test, let's get the soil test, but then let's apply the nutrients based off of that soil test to address that, and let's see how it goes from there. And so you do that for 5 years.
Based on the test results.
Yeah,
right.
Based off of what practices and things that you want to do.
Now, under the equip program, you could have certain practices that fit within the context of CSP.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in years past, CSP has had what we called enhancements.
Right.
This year, it is no enhancements, equip practices, CSP practices. They are the same, but here's the difference. It's the level of management style. So over here is pretty much just your basic components. On equip side, on CSP side, you have where you're getting a little more in depth. We want you to do a little more than what you're doing. Be a better steward, a little bit more each time.
And both those contracts could be
So
going at the same time.
Yes,
Okay, at the same time.
yes.
Now, what's the minimum payment that,
Okay, so equip, the maximum you can, there's no minimum on equip. The maximum is $450 per contract this year. Keep me straight,
That's right.
Bernard.
Okay.
450,000
okay,
per contract. And then on CSP, it's a minimum of 20,000 over 5 years. So you have a minimum of $4,000 a year for 5 years, minimum
no, CSP,
on CSP.
okay,
And then you have up to 300,000 for individuals or LLCs, corporations. And then you have up to 600,000 for partnerships, type 2 businesses,
CSP,
CSP. So over 5 years, if as an individual or a corporation, LLC, you can earn up to 300,000. And then a partnership is 600,000 for CSP. With a minimum payment over 5 years is 20,000, because that minimum payment,
20,000 a year.
20,000 over 5 years. So the minimum payment for
Okay.
1 year is 4,000.
That, okay, so minimum, okay, I got you, minimum payment 4,000.
So you start off with your 4,000, and that's just your, what we call existing activity payment.
Mhm.
And then you have anything like your nutrient management, your pest management, reduced tillage, things like that. Your practices that you choose, that you want to go a little more than what you've been doing, then that adds more money to your payment. Pollinators, there's prescribed grazing, rotational grazing. We have a long list.
Yeah, no, it's a book.
But I like to, that's the reason why we really like to go out to the farm, and we like to put boots on the ground and see what you have, and that way we can kind of cater to you and your operation.
Under the, and this may be under the equip, but if there's land that has, say, underbrush and things of that nature, and you're trying to move that land into being part of productive land on that farming, or that farm number, are those activities allowed with the equip?
I know we do some brush management. I am not 100% familiar with it because I don't have a lot of people ask for it, because most everything we have here in Chico County is row crop that's already been farmed. But again, if they ask for it, we can always, I might not know, but I'll call. I'll figure it out. We'll find out. Maybe, Kennard, can you touch on that? Reggie, do y'all?
On brush management,
Brush management, I'm not,
not much in this area. It'd be more of your hill.
but if somebody was to apply for brush management, is it?
What's the question?
Well, I was asking, as far as from the equip perspective, a lot of times, which I'll come at the other part of the question, in some cases, we've been in communities that we're in rich, so yeah, I have a half acre, 2 acres, and we need to get a farm number on it, but we have brush and area that's grown up, on this vacant piece of property that's in the family. I'm talking more about their property situation. So if they came in, they got the farm number, they signed up for equip, and say out of this acre, quarter of an acre, it has some underbrush and things that's sort of grown up on the land. Would that be eligible on dealing with removal, making more of the land, productive and operational as a small farming operation, say for vegetable production? That brush removal.
It'll be a case by case, because it depends on if it's going to be used as pasture land or if it's used as crop land. So it's going to be a case by case basis. Best thing for us to do, instead of making a call, in the office, we're going to go out and look at the site. So every site is different, so it'll be a site by site basis. So some may be eligible, some may not. Just depends on the situation of the site.
My other question is on, I discussed the air property situation and having a farm number. Now, if they can't get that farm number and they're applying for any of those program services, then it's out the door.
Okay, so the reason why a farm number and a track number is so important is because when you apply for our programs, we are going to be mapping it. And so it has to be in the system to where we can tie the contract to that land and tell us, and to be able to tell the contract, hey, this is what we're doing on this property. Now, there was like a little caveat, I thought, to air property that if nobody had a will, if all of that fell through, but whoever paid the taxes for so many years, if you could prove that you're the one that paid the taxes for, I think it was 7 years, you legally own that property because you have been paying the taxes on that piece of property. And that way, I think that is the way you can. Now, I am not FSA, but I thought I heard Patrick say that at our last outreach meeting. So you might touch base with him and ask about years and
It
if
used
there's.
to be a long time ago.
But
I don't know if it's still that way.
Yeah, that's some of the
It's
flexibility.
very possible, is it?
Yeah, some of the flexibility.
If you
That
didn't
may
own
help
the
somebody.
land and you have been paying the taxes on it, then you could do it, but I'm thinking that's when the 5-year lease comes in. If you don't own it,
see, you know,
still.
Well, I know some of the things that I looked at from the FSA perspective, and they were trying to create more flexibility, allowing individuals to access the program, but if they could show and they have evidence that they have been paying taxes, in other words, saying they may not have control, but they have actually been managing that land and dealing with it for a period of years, then they could actually give them the farm number, but they have to show evidence that they are heirs in that particular property, and not a lease operator, of it, and they have actually paid.
You're saying if they didn't have a number.
yes, if
Yeah.
they didn't have
Yeah.
a number and was,
Yeah,
and we're having to,
Create a
yes, and was trying to.
person in the system and all.
now the part that you mentioned is for the ownership is concerned. Normally, in most cases on that, if an individual has been both paying taxes and operating or utilizing the property for 7 years or more, the ownership could come into play, but they would have to do a quick claim deed and do it by what they call adverse possession, on that part. I don't encourage that, for
7 years.
people to do that, but evidence that they've been paying taxes on it, they've been doing things with it, then FSA in certain, and it's a case-by-case basis, so they can have some more flexibility and issue farm numbers to give them access to the program services. Let me, one other thing, but I think you said I didn't talk about the CRP program, because I saw it under the
Should be
country.
under farm service.
Yeah, under
I get why y'all put it under me. I do. Because it's confusing
does.
for
Yes.
a lot of
You have to
people,
check
because
the
you're gonna
process.
start with FSA.
Yes.
right,
And you're gonna sign up and they'll see, and then they go over your soil rental rates and all of that. And then they send it down the hall and then I assess it and say, okay, is this forestry? Is this grasslands? And if it's grassland, I send it to Game and Fish to get their recommended plan. And then they send it back to me and then I write a conservation plan and map and all of that. And then I give FSA the plan back and then they contract it and then they call you and say, hey, we got your money.
yeah.
NRCS doesn't administer the
FSA pays.
payment, we administer the conservation plan as the conservation side.
And my
That's the
question,
technical
and my
side.
question was on those plans, are those what, 10, 15 years now?
Some can be 10, but 15 years is typical.
So-
Now, I don't know if they're doing a clear 30 anymore, but that was a 30-year there for a while.
That was on the
easement.
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 And I don't know if that's not even
It's some change.
WRP, what used, but it becomes
Change
something,
name.
it's something else, yes. It was wetland reserve program, it's not.
Now, that's different than what I was talking about with
Oh,
CRP.
it is?
Clear
Yeah.
30
I
is
never
like
know
a 30-year
30 years for
CRP.
CRP, has it? Unless you got it, read.
It was a,
It was a CP30. It was a practice.
Oh,
CP
CP, okay.
30 or 32, something like that, wetlands on the CRP. They had a code that you can do actual wetland practice.
In 30 years, I don't remember.
It was 15 years, but it was the CP 32 or CP 30.
I thought you had to read.
No, it was called-
Re-up
Yes.
it, but it's 15 years.
Okay.
And it's CP 30 or CP 32, I don't remember the exact
I
code.
remember that 30, but I don't know.
30 or 32, but it was wetland,
Okay.
wetland restoration is what it was.
But I did have a question about the conservation easement. Okay, conservation easement. Now that can be either a permanent easement or it can be, 15 years, under NRCS?
It's a permanent 30. 15, they had some restoration work under 15, but you got a permanent easement and you have a 30-year easement.
Okay. Under the 30-year easement, it was my understanding that there was one easement program, you could get into the easement program, the farmer get paid, the landowner, and you could still farm it. Does that exist?
Sounds like WRP. That was easement, but it wasn't,
Now you can't farm it.
no,
It'll be restored,
WRP.
it'll be restored back to wetland restoration.
yeah.
Okay. So it's either a permanent, possibly a 30-year easement that one can go. What's the payment on the,
We actually have a team that actually evaluates all those, and then based on the evaluations, different areas. Irrigated ground got a rate, non-irrigated has a rate, so, and the rate changes yearly, can change yearly, so I don't know those rates at that time, but we can always get that information to you. Call up office, we can get that information to you.
okay.
So that's what the easement of 30, you said a permanent or 30, is that what WRP?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay. Did you all have anything to say? We are gonna take a break, 12:15. We also have,
Rule about the bond.
rural development. No, he's not rural development. He is a congressman. You're from which office?
Rick Crawford.
Rick Crawford.
Rick.
Oh, this is
Congressman Rich Crawford. Do you have anything to say? Would you like to say anything?
Mr. Hunter.
I'm just grateful to be here and represent the congressman here.
Okay.
And we work a lot with USDA on a multitude of casework, and we're continuing to advocate for our farmers, ranchers, producers, and agriculture's really had a rough time in all different ways. And anything we can do to make life better for our farmers, we're here to do so. So we just appreciate the opportunity to be here. So.
Mr. Hunter, before, we're gonna have lunch now, but before we close out, I would like for you to come up front, because one, this is being recorded, and I would like for you to come up and really just give us a few words of understanding the state of agriculture now, but knowing that the congressman office as well as the administrators are doing all that they can to both rejuvenate and to address a lot of the issues that our farmers are actually facing now. And I had some discussions earlier. I know some of the concerns now on the part of the producers, particularly, as well as other partners that the USDA work with, is and has been some of the cuts, with USDA, and what we're hoping that does not happen, now some of those potential additional cuts with USDA. But after lunch, I would really appreciate if we could have some discussion around that, and we'll move forward, if you don't mind.
100%, I appreciate it.
Okay, great.
Okay, so you're welcome to come and get lunch. We have them in different, order here. I'm not sure which, but Barbara can tell you. Also in the restroom is behind me.
So I appreciate
So,
it.
let's take a break.
One-on-one, just if you ask me questions.
Well, see, that's the way I always